Welcome back to the Nurturing Leadership Podcast. I'm your host, Andrew White. I hope you've experienced the other episodes that I've created before that. We started off with the purpose, did an 8-part series on the purpose where we felt that was a good place to start. Then me and Mike, the co-author of How to Lead with Purpose, got together, had a chat about our journey, some of our struggles in the past, and why we created Nurturing Leadership, I suppose. And then last week, we started the Neuroscience series where we discussed the intro and the importance of the brain when it comes to leadership. So today we're going to focus on the emotional intelligence and the many benefits that it has within leadership. And some of the things we're going to look at is decision making, better communication, team morale, adaptability, trust and loyalty, inspirational leadership, conflict resolution, which we've touched on briefly in the intro, but a little bit more connected. These topics are a little bit more connected with the emotional intelligence side of things, employment development, for example, and the last one we'll close it off with enhance leadership's effectiveness, which we did briefly touch on last week as well. So, yes, emotional intelligence. Where do we begin? Well, I suppose I really want you to imagine a workplace, where every conversation, every interaction resonates with a deep sense of understanding and empathy. I believe that's the magic that emotional intelligence brings to the table, especially when it comes to communication in leadership. So what do you think makes communication so extraordinary when led by somebody with high emotional intelligence? Well, I want to break it down to what I firstly think it's about. I've always said two things really, more than others is, well, I'm going to begin with empathy. Let me begin with empathy. I do believe it's the cornerstone of emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligent equipped leaders possess this remarkable ability, I guess, to step into that perspective of someone else's shoes of their team members, understanding not just what they say, but also how they feel. It's like having a finely tuned radar for emotions, picking up on subtle cues that aren't always voiced, just taking an extra glance at people and trying to understand their body language. And that really comes if you've had team bonding, if you've spent time with them, if you've really got to know them already by having simple conversations. I think this empathetic understanding creates a bridge between the leader and their team, fostering that sense of being genuinely heard and valued. It's not just about understanding emotions. Some people struggle with that. I get it. But it's about responding to them in a meaningful way. So I always try and picture this, I suppose, like where a team member is feeling overwhelmed or anxious about a project. I've been there before. Absolutely. Might not show it, but inside, I've definitely been quite anxious about it. I think an emotionally intelligent leader doesn't just acknowledge that situation, but it extends a compassionate hand, offering support, reassurance, and perhaps even just adjusting deadlines or responsibilities, depending on what line of work you're in. At this level of understanding and support elevates the communication from mere exchange of information to a dialogue deeply rooted in care and consideration. Another aspect that amplifies communication of, emotion intelligent leaders is their knack for, I want to say listening, but I have to say active listening now. It's about taking turns in order to speak, and taking turns in order to listen. It's about absorbing what's being said and unsaid, making the person speaking feel truly understood. This active listening forms a bond of trust where team members feel comfortable opening up, sharing ideas, sharing concerns, and even innovate solutions without the fear of judgment. And let's not forget about conflict resolutions as well. They're definitely inevitable in any workplace. I'm assuming you would agree with that. But here's where emotional intelligent leadership truly shines. When conflicts arise, emotional intelligent leaders don't shy away from addressing the emotions behind the discord. They navigate these choppy waters. I suppose the ship's a good one. A lot of places do think of their places as a ship, being a captain, a boss. So, when we have to navigate these choppy waters, they have to do it with finesse. I suppose acknowledging different perspectives, validating emotions, and steering the conversation towards resolution rather than escalating tensions. But here's the real cherry, I suppose, on the top. Emotion intelligent leaders don't just limit their empathetic communication to challenging moments. They infuse everyday interactions with this empathetic touch. From celebrating success to acknowledging efforts and even just checking in on their team members' well-being. They create that culture where everybody feels seen, heard, and valued. This communication, this kind of communication, I suppose, isn't just effective, it's transformative. It builds stronger teams, bonded and by the trust, loyalty, and I suppose a shared vision. It fosters an environment, where creativity flourishes, where people aren't afraid to voice their opinion or pitch unconventional ideas, I suppose. A lot of people don't like to throw crazy ideas out there because it's out of that realm of normality. That lack of risk taking, I suppose. So in essence, when we talk about better communication in the realm of emotional intelligent leaders, it's not just about transmitting information. It's about creating a profound connection, a connection that transcends words and reaches into the very core of human understanding. And that, I think, is I believe it's the incredible power of emotional intelligence in fostering effective and compassionate communication within leadership. So when we come to conflict resolution, let's have a look at, let's picture this. Let's go back to the storm. We have storms in workplaces, friendships, decision making of projects, etc. They can brew suddenly, like come out of nowhere, catching everybody off guard, leaving chaos and uncertainty in their vision, in their wake. But here's where emotional intelligence swoops in like a seasoned captain navigating through, again, those rough seas, steering towards calmer waters of resolution and understanding. Conflict resolution might sound like a daunting task, but for leaders with high emotional intelligence, it's an arena where they may shine, right? So first things first, emotional intelligence gives these leaders a keen radar for recognizing the emotional undercurrents beneath the conflicts. It's not just about visible disagreement or clash of ideas. It's about understanding the emotional driving of those conflicts. They can identify the frustration, the hurt, the fear, or even underlying concerns that they might not have surfaced yet. This, I suppose, insights allows them to address the core issues, not just the symptoms, which is crucial, though, for sustainable conflict resolution. Imagine a team where disagreements aren't seen as obstacles, but as opportunities for growth and innovation. I suppose that's the magic of emotional intelligence in conflict resolution. These emotionally intelligent leaders don't shy away from conflict. Instead, they lean into it, creating that safe space for open discussions. I suppose here's the kicker, though. They do it with, once again, that finesse. They don't bulldoze through the conflicts or sweep them under the rug. Instead, they foster an environment where everybody feels heard and respected. Even encourage open dialogue where different opinions are not only acknowledged, but they're definitely valued. I don't think it ends there, though. Emotional intelligence equips leaders with the tools to manage their own emotions and reactions in the face of conflict. They don't let their own frustrations or bias cloud their judgment. They maintain a calm and composed demeanor, setting an example for others on how to handle disagreements constructively. Again, in order for that to happen, though, they have to look after themselves. I believe by setting themselves up for the day in a calm, mindful way. It could be breath work. It could be, for example, what I do, jumping into cold water. It could be going for a morning walk with the sun, setting those D3 levels, things like that. They're not just, I suppose, these leaders these emotional intelligence leaders facilitate constructive conversations. They're not there for mediation. They're not there just as mediators. They're facilitators of understanding. They guide the discussions towards a resolution, ensuring that each party feels understood and validated. It's important not to pick sides. It's about finding a common ground where everyone feels their concerns have been addressed. The secret sauce, though, what is it again? It's empathy. It's the ability to step in the shoes of each person involved in that conflict. Emotionally intelligent leaders create empathy bridges, helping individuals understand each other's perspective. This builds bridges where walls once stood, fostering that understanding and, I suppose, mutual respect. So it's not just it's not just about the conflict at hand, though. These leaders also look towards the future. They view conflicts as learning opportunities for the team, which we mentioned before. By addressing the emotions and concerns, they pave the way for stronger relationships and clearer communication before moving forward into the next part of their year. Ultimately, though, conflict resolution under the guidance of emotional intelligence isn't just about putting out fires, it's about preventing them. Looking at the core and looking to prevent them from ever catching fire. It's about creating a workplace culture where conflicts are seen as avenues for growth, where disagreements are seen as seeds for innovation, and where everyone feels heard and valued. So, emotional intelligence acts as a beacon in the stormy seas of conflict. It guides leaders towards fostering a harmonious work environment, one where conflicts, I suppose, are not feared but are embraced as opportunities for growth and collaboration again. That's the transformative power of emotional intelligence in conflict resolution within leadership. Let's have a look at decision-making. I suppose decision-making is that heartbeat of leadership, though. Sometimes they have to make difficult decisions. And when it's infused with emotional intelligence, it becomes it becomes a symphony of logic and emotions, orchestrating outcomes that resonate deeply within the team. Let's think about it. I'll look at it like this. I suppose leaders constantly face decisions from the mundane to the game-changing. Now, what sets emotionally intelligent leaders apart in this realm? Well, I think it's their ability to strike that delicate balance between logic and emotions. We've developed a different part of the brain over the years when we started to eat meat and things like that, and we never used to have the prefrontal cortex, which is logic. It was all emotional. But let's start with the logic: rational thinking, data-driven analysis, pros and cons. These are the staples of decision making. Emotionally intelligent leaders don't just discard logic, though; they embrace it wholeheartedly, I suppose. They analyze the facts, weigh the options, and forecast potential outcomes. This analytical approach ensures decisions are grounded, logical, and based on sound understanding of the situation at hand. But here's the magic: emotional intelligence doesn't just stop there at the logic. It amplifies decision-making by considering emotions. Now, emotions might seem like the wild card in decision-making, but they hold significant weight. Emotional intelligent leaders understand this and factor in how decisions will impact the emotions of those involved. Otherwise, I suppose we turn around and say, well, that's business. Well, that's not good enough. Let's break it down even further. Picture a decision that affects the team's workload or the direction of a project. An emotionally intelligent leader doesn't look at the numbers or the deadlines. They consider how the decision will resonate with the team emotionally. They gauge the potential reactions, the concerns, the fears, and even the excitement that might arise. This consideration helps in crafting decisions not only make sense logically, but also resonate with the team on an emotional level. Emotionally intelligent decision-making fosters an inclusive approach, inclusive environment as well. It's not a top-down approach where decisions are imposed. It's a collaborative effort where the leader seeks input and considers the perspective of others. They create spaces for open discussions where team members feel valued, knowing their thoughts and feelings are taken into account. But wait, there is a little bit more. Emotional intelligence empowers leaders to trust their gut feelings, their instincts, their second brain. It's not a blind leap, it's informed intuition. Sometimes the logical path might seem crystal clear, but that lingering gut feeling, emotionally intelligent leaders know it's worth paying attention to. They understand that intuition often carries valuable insights that data, depending where you are, alone might just miss out. Because when you're looking at figures on a piece of paper, there's a face, there's a personality behind that, and that doesn't get measured. All right, so decisions made with emotional intelligence tend to resonate deeper within the team. Why? Well, I think because team members feel their emotions, their concerns, and well-being were considered in the decision-making process. This leads to greater satisfaction and a stronger sense of belonging within that team. So emotional intelligence doesn't disregard logic in decision-making. It enriches it. It adds a layer of depth, a human touch that transforms decisions from mere choices on paper to impactful actions that resonate with the hearts and minds of that team. So when we talk about emotional intelligence decision-making in leadership, it's about creating a synergy between logic and emotions, a blend that doesn't lead to better outcomes, but fosters team satisfaction and a sense of collective ownership over the decision-making. That's the power of emotional intelligence within the realm of decision-making within leadership. And that leads nicely onto team morale, because it's like the fuel that propels a workplace forward. And when it comes to stoking that fire, leaders equipped with emotional intelligence are the ultimate fire starters. Imagine a workplace where every day feels like victory, where you get out of bed and you actually really can't wait to get there or want to go. I know it sounds like a dream world. You don't even, I mean, it does, I suppose, but where the team members step in with enthusiasm and leave with a sense of fulfillment. That's the magic of emotional intelligence in boosting team morale. So how do emotional intelligence leaders create this positive atmosphere? Well, like conductors of that orchestrating a sympathy of positivity and motivation, firstly, I think they have to lead by example. You have to lead yourself before you lead others, right? Their own attitude and demeanor set the tone for the entire day. They radiate positivity, not just in words, but in actions. They approach challenges with a can-do attitude, turning setbacks into opportunities for growth. This optimism, I think, is contagious. I've definitely felt off that positivity before when working. It spreads like wildfire among me and other team members. So emotionally intelligent leaders have a knack for recognizing and appreciating their team efforts. They understand the importance of acknowledgement, a simple thank you, or, a morning. How are you? How can I make your day better or easier, should I say, today? What can I do to make your workload easier? I know it's not always that simple, but I think that has to be the first thing of a job of a leader. A simple thank you or that genuine acknowledgement of a job well done goes a long way in boosting that morale. It's not just about the big wins, it's about celebrating every step towards that win. It definitely should be about the journey and not necessarily the end point. That every effort contributes to the team's success. Again, praise is good. Definitely, yeah, but it's not always about the praise, it's about the support along that way. These leaders can they create an environment where team members feel supported, both professionally and personally. They're approachable, ready to lend an ear or offer guidance whenever needed. This support system fosters a sense of belonging and security within the team, which directly translates to higher morale. Emotional intelligence also plays a crucial role in resolving conflicts, as we've discussed earlier. By addressing and resolving conflicts constructively, leaders prevent the toxicity that often dampens morale. That harmonious work environment where disagreements are seen as opportunities for growth rather than the sources of discord elevates team spirit and morale. Another aspect that we've always done in the workplace is feedback. Emotionally intelligent leaders provide constructive feedback that focuses on growth rather than criticism. They understand the importance of guidance in nurturing individual skills and boosting overall team performance. This feedback loop becomes a catalyst for improvement, inspiring team members to strive for excellence. Motivation, that driving force behind productivity, receives a turbo boost from emotional intelligence. These leaders understand what motivates each team member on a personal level, getting to know your individuals differently. Everyone is different. and motivation hits them differently as well. They tailor their approach, whether it's providing autonomy, recognition, or challenging opportunities to align with individual motivations. This personalized touch ignites a sense of purpose and passion within the team. And guess what? A positive atmosphere isn't just a feel-good factor. It's a productivity booster. When team members feel motivated, supported, and appreciated, they're more engaged. They're willing to go that extra mile, contributing their best work to the collective success of the team and organization. Emotional intelligence in leadership definitely transforms the workplace into a fertile ground where positivity and motivation bloom. It's not just about boosting that team morale again. It's about nurturing a culture that thrives on encouragement, support, and a shared vision of success. That's the transformative power of emotional intelligence in uplifting team morale and enhancing productivity. Adaptability. All right. We've mentioned it. I think we mentioned it in the last episode. It is another secret sauce that leaders need in today's ever-evolving workplace. When it comes to mastering the art of adaptability, emotional intelligence is the compass that guides them through turbulent seas, helping them navigate change with grace and composure. So why is adaptability such a game changer in leadership? Well, I believe in a dynamic work environment where change is the only constant. I'm a teacher. It constantly changes. Constantly, every year, term after term, changes. Leaders need to be, they need to be flexible. They need to be agile and ready to adjust their approach at a moment's notice. Emotional intelligence equips leaders with the resilience needed to weather storms. It's not about avoiding the stress or the change. It's about managing them effectively. These leaders have a keen sense of self-awareness. They understand their own triggers, their own emotions and their stresses, which allows them to regulate their reactions in the face of change. Think about it. A major restructuring or a sudden shift in project goals can send shockwaves through a team massively. Emotionally intelligent leaders don't panic. Instead, they keep a level head. They act as beacons of stability, reassuring the team members and guiding them through the transition. These leaders understand that change often brings uncertainty. And uncertainty, well, it can be unsettling, but emotionally intelligent leaders don't let uncertainty breed fear or chaos. They communicate openly and transparently with their team. They provide clarity amidst the fog, painting a clear picture of what's known and what's still in the flux. This transparency helps elevate anxiety and builds trust within the team. We can't always manage stress. Well, I suppose it's not just about managing that stress all the time. It's about thriving amidst the change. And most intelligent leaders see change as an opportunity of growth, like all the other things that we've discussed. They encourage that team to embrace the change. Again, embracing all these factors as a chance to learn, evolve, and innovate. The mindset shifts towards what might seem like a challenge into an avenue for exploration and progress. And let's talk about the adaptability. These leaders are like conductors, orchestrating a seamless adaptation to new circumstances. They pivot strategies, reallocate resources, and recalibrate goals without losing the sight of the team's overarching projects. This adaptability not only ensures survival, but fosters a culture of resilience within the team. Again, magic. Emotional intelligence doesn't equip leaders to adapt. It enables them to thrive in an ambiguity. They're comfortable with the unknown. They understand that not everything can be predicted or controlled, and that's okay. This comfort in uncertainty helps them make informed decisions, even in situations with incomplete information. And the ripple effect. Well, a team with an emotionally intelligent leader at the helm becomes more adaptable too. They mirror the leader's approach, embracing change with a similar sense of resilience and optimism. Emotional intelligence acts as a lifeline in turbulent waters. surviving change is one thing, but it's about thriving amidst it. It's about cultivating a culture where adaptability isn't just a skill, it's a mindset that views change as an opportunity, uncertainty as a chance to innovate. That's the transformative power of emotional intelligence in enabling leaders to navigate change and manage stress effectively in dynamic work environments. Trust and loyalty is super, super important. It's hard with all the mixed in personalities in the place, right? It's the bedrock of any thriving workplace. And when it comes to building these invaluable pillars, emotional intelligence acts as the cornerstone that strengthens the foundation between leaders and their teams. So let's look at trust, a currency that's earned through actions, not just the words, definitely through actions. I've seen people, I'm sure you all have heard the words, but then seen different actions. Emotionally intelligent leaders understand this implicity. They recognize that trust isn't bestowed automatically with a title. It's something that's cultivated through constant behavior and genuine connections. These leaders communicate openly and honestly with their team members. They're transparent about decisions, goals, and challenges. They don't sugarcoat reality, but present it in a way that fosters understanding and confidence in their leadership. Emotional intelligence equips leaders with the superpower of that word that I love, as empathy. They have this incredible ability to understand their team's perspective, concerns, and aspirations. This empathy forms the bridge, again, of trust. That bridge is super important, and knocking down that wall, allowing team members to feel understood and valued. Trust, understanding is one thing, having an understanding, but it's about real reliability. Emotion intelligent leaders walk the talk. They follow through on commitments, keep their promises, and take responsibility for their actions. This consistency builds trust incrementally. Oh my word, absolutely. Reinforcing that belief that the leader can be relied upon. Now, here's where loyalty comes into play. Trust breeds loyalty. When team members feel trusted, understood, and valued, they reciprocate that trust and commitment. Emotionally intelligent leaders create an environment where team members feel empowered, where their contributions are acknowledged and appreciated. Not just in the present moment, though. It's about long-term relationships. Emotionally intelligent leaders invest time in building meaningful connections. They take an interest in the team members' growth, both professionally and personally. That empathy, that perspective gives you when you can ask questions about people's personal lives. It's not even about asking them. I suppose you can't do that. It's about hearing about their personal life. If chosen to talk about it, it gives you that insight of why they might be thinking or doing certain things, or maybe having an off day, giving you that open-mindedness. This investment in their development and well-being cultivates a sense of that loyalty, a bond that transcends the professional realm. Reduced turnover rates are a natural byproduct of this trust and loyalty. When team members feel valued and connected to their leader and their organization, they're more likely to stay. They're not just there for the job. They're there for a purpose, a shared vision that aligns with their own values. Emotionally intelligent leaders create an inclusive environment where diverse opinions are not just tolerated, but encouraged. They value different perspectives, fostering a sense of belonging amongst the team members. This inclusivity adds another layer to trust and loyalty, making team members feel like they're an integral part of a larger community. I suppose here, a fascinating aspect. Trust and loyalty from a team member don't just stop within the confines of the team. It ripples outwards, impacting the organization's reputation. I mean, have you ever been in a job where you go home and talk about it? You hear, or you've heard your friends talk about an organization in the city or the town that you're close to, or the schools maybe? 100%. A workplace known for its trust and loyalty becomes a magnet for top talent or top teachers or top nurses or whatever it might be, further strengthening the organization standing in that particular industry. Emotional intelligence is the catalyst that fuels trust and loyalty in leadership. Some leaders become a boss because they want to be a boss. But it's not just about being a boss. It's about being a trusted ally, a mentor, and a supporter. It's about building a culture where trust and loyalty thrive, creating a workplace where team members feel valued, understood, and committed. That's the transformative power of emotional intelligence in fostering trust, loyalty, and reducing turnover rates within teams and businesses. Anyway, Well, in inspirational leadership, if you've ever come across some really good stories of leadership, please share them in the comments. I'm going to do a series after the victim series of some really, really amazing journeys people have shared along the timeline that I've just started this. But if you've got more, please reach out. I think inspirational leadership is the heartbeat that propels a team towards greatness. When you infuse emotional intelligence into the mix, it becomes that catalyst again that ignites fiery passion within each team member, fostering that profound sense of purpose and unwavering commitment. So what do you think exactly makes emotionally intelligent leaders so inspirational? Well, let's dive into it. Well, I think these leaders are visionaries. They don't just lead, they paint a vivid picture of the future, a future that's compelling, meaningful, and aligned with the values and aspirations of the team. They articulate this vision with such clarity and conviction that it becomes contagious, spreading, again, like wildfire and igniting passion and enthusiasm within the team. Emotional intelligence equips leaders with the ability to connect with the team on a deeply human level. They're not just about bosses giving orders and being a status thing for them, right? They're relatable figures who understand their team's hopes, fears, and ambitions. This understanding, though, forms the bedrock of trust, laying the foundation for inspirational relationship. Not just about the leader's vision. We all get that. It's about aligning that vision with each team member's individual purpose as much as you possibly can anyway. Emotionally intelligent leaders take the time to understand what drives each team member. They identify the strengths, passions, and aspirations, and they tailor the collective vision in a way that resonates deeply with each individual. This personal connection to the larger goal creates a sense of ownership and commitment that goes beyond mere obligation. Inspirational leadership is not, we come back to the motivation. It's about empowerment. Emotionally intelligent leaders empower their team members, giving them the autonomy and trust needed to explore their potential. They provide guidance and support without micromanaging, allowing room for creativity and innovation to flourish. These leaders lead again by example. They embody the values they espouse and setting high standard for integrity and dedication and resilience. Their actions speak volumes, inspiring their team through their own unwavering commitment and dedication towards the shared vision. I think this is the crux of inspirational leadership, though. I know I'm doing a speech, but it's not just about those speeches or grand gestures. Most intelligent leaders inspire through everyday, small, tiny actions. They celebrate those small victories. They acknowledge efforts and provide encouragement when challenges arise. These small, consistent acts of encouragement create a positive atmosphere, fueling motivation and commitment within the team. You see it. I see people walking down the hallways at the schools that I work at, shoulders back out, they're smiling. They've had a good day, and there's a reason why. Not only are they happy with themselves, but they might have just had a simple chat with their leaders, or had a good chat with a colleague, and they've built some energy and relationship between them, right? I think this is a fascinating part, though. Inspired teams go above and beyond. They're not. We can look at targets. We can look at goals. It's not just about them, though. It's about it's about that driven, deeper purpose. They're motivated by that shared vision that goes beyond individual goals, fueling collaboration and collective drive towards excellence. Emotional intelligence is that magic one that turns leaders into inspirers in chief. It's about weaving a narrative that resonates with each team member and empowering them to be part of something bigger than themselves. It's about fostering a culture where inspiration isn't a fleeting moment. It's a way of leadership, a guiding force that propels teams towards their highest potential. That is the transformative power of emotional intelligence in inspirational leadership within organizations. I suppose, again, conflict resolution always comes into play. Conflict prevention is is, I suppose, navigating a ship away from stormy waters. And when you add emotional intelligence into the captain's toolkit, it becomes the compass that helps leaders steer clear of potential conflicts, ensuring smooth sailing for that team. So why is conflict prevention such a crucial aspect of leadership, and how does emotional intelligence play a pivotal role in it? Well, let's picture, I don't know, a leader with high emotional intelligence that possesses a finely tuned radar for detecting brewing conflicts. They could wait for conflict to surface. They have this incredible ability to sense tension, let's say, identify underlying issues and spot potential sources of discord before they snowball into larger problems. Now, here's where emotional intelligence works at its magic. These leaders don't sweep these potential conflicts under the rug. They address them proactively. They create an open door policy where team members feel comfortable expressing their concerns without the fear of repercussion. Communication is the linchpin here. Emotionally intelligent leaders fosters an environment where communication flows freely. They encourage open dialogue where differing opinions are respected and conflicts are seen as opportunities for constructive discussions rather than the sources of contention. These leaders understand the power of dynamics within their teams. They are tuned to the interplay of personalities and dynamics that might lead to friction. By recognizing these dynamics early on, they can take preventative measures, be it through team building exercises, fostering empathy among team members, or clarifying roles and responsibilities to nip potential conflicts in the bud. Recognition, it's not just about that. It's about addressing the root cause. I always look to the root cause of things. Let's go right to the beginning. Emotionally intelligent leaders delve deeper into the underlying emotions that might fuel the conflicts. They empathize with the feelings and perspective of those involved, fostering an environment where emotions can be expressed and acknowledged. And guess what? When conflicts do arise, these leaders don't let them fester. They handle them swiftly and diplomatically. By addressing conflicts early on, before they escalate, emotionally intelligent leaders prevent them from becoming entrenched, and thereby saving valuable time and energy that could better utilize towards productive endeavors. Another remarkable aspect is their ability to mediate and facilitate discussions. Emotional intelligence acts as neutral parties, guiding discussions towards resolution without taking sides. Their ability to empathize and understand multiple perspectives helps in finding common ground and reaching solutions that satisfy all parties involved. I suppose the real beauty of conflict prevention, though, through having emotional intelligence, lies in the impact of team dynamics. When conflicts are minimized, it creates the atmosphere of trust and collaboration. Team members feel supported, heard, and valued, fostering, again, stronger relationships and a sense of unity within the team. Emotional intelligence acts as a shield against conflicts. Reactive measures. It's about proactive steps taken to create a harmonious work environment. It's about recognizing and addressing potential issues before they blossom into full-blown conflicts. A crucial element in a nurturing, and I love using the word nurturing, a nurturing workplace culture built on understanding, respect, and collaboration. That's, again, another transformative power of emotional intelligence in conflict prevention within teams and organizations. Employment development is another cornerstone of a thriving workplace. The brain thrives. I tell the kids, when the brain moves, the brain grooves. I got that from a Limitless book. When we learn in our brain dances, it wants to take new information in. Emotional intelligence is at the helm of that. It becomes, again, that catalyst that propels team members towards their fullest potential. Diving into emotional intelligence leaders play pivotal roles in nurturing the growth and growth and development of the teams. Imagine a leader who not only oversees tasks, but also invests in their team members' growth, both personally and professionally. That's the hallmark of an emotionally intelligent leader. First and foremost, these leaders are adept at providing constructive feedback. Now it's It's not, we don't want to point out mistakes. Absolutely not. You know, I'm sure we've all been around those people that do point out mistakes. It's about offering that guidance that inspires growth. It doesn't have to be that hard. You know, they focus on the strengths of their team members, or at least they should do, acknowledging their accomplishments while also providing constructive criticism aimed at improvement. Another beauty. Emotional intelligence don't just stop at that feedback, which we mentioned before. They provide, again, the support. Their mentors, coaches, and cheerleaders all rolled into one. They offer guidance, resources, and opportunities for skill development. Whether it's through workshops, additional training, or mentoring programs, they actively seek ways to nurture their team's growth. These leaders have this innate ability to tailor their approach to each team member. They understand that one size doesn't fit all when it comes to development. They take the time to identify individual strengths. I hate to say the word weaknesses, but maybe another area for talents, aspirations, and I guess learning styles, because we all have different learning styles. These personalized approach, ensures that the guidance provided is not just generic, but tailored to each personal needs, maximizing the potential for growth. Again, we could look at professional development, we just have, but let's go a little bit in a different direction. Emotional intelligence extends to supporting personal growth too. These leaders understand when it comes to personal growth that well-being impacts the professional performance. Partly why I started to go to the brain books, so I could look at myself at a deeper level as my own personal growth. It create an environment. When we do that, they create an environment where team members feel comfortable discussing personal challenges or seeking advice on a work-life balance. Empathy plays a crucial role in this part, though, because emotionally intelligent leaders aren't just concerned with the tasks at hand. They care about the team members as individuals. They listen actively, offering not just solutions, but a compassionate ear. This empathetic connection builds, obviously trust, creating a safe space for personal discussions and growth. It gets fascinating. Emotionally intelligent leaders encourage a growth mindset within their teams. They foster that culture that celebrates learning and continuous improvement. They don't seek setbacks as failures, as stepping stones towards, everlasting growth. This mindset shift encourages team members to embrace challenges, take risks, and seek opportunities for learning and development. Let's talk about career growth, though, because these leaders actively support team members' career aspirations. For me, again, I always revert back to the school, but if education system, but if I'm a principal or a headmaster, I want to create other headmasters that can go off and lead other communities. That's the count that I would be counting. That's what I would feel good about. If I've created more assistant principals, more assistant headmasters and headmistresses, same as, all those advanced teachers, learning specialists, depending on what country you're in, develop more and more of those. Yes, they leave your facility. Yes, they leave your school. They leave your building, an organization, but they've gone somewhere else to continue that growth. That, I would hope, is what you want to build. If it's about you, feeling good about yourself as a leader. They provide the guidance on career paths and advocate for opportunities within the organization or out, like you just mentioned, and encourage skill development that aligns with their long-term goals. But the real magic happens when team members feel empowered. Emotionally intelligent leaders create an environment where team members take ownership of their development. They foster a sense of accountability and autonomy, empowering individuals to drive their growth journeys. Emotional intelligence, I keep saying it, but we all know today's topic is on emotional intelligence, but leadership transforms, emotional intelligence transforms the workplace into that positive ground for growth. We always look at achieving targets, but it's about nurturing the potential of each team member. It's about creating a culture where learning, feedback, and support are not just occasional occurrences, but ingrained in elements that fuel continuous development. That's another transformative power of emotional intelligence in fostering employee development, again, within teams. All right. When we talk about leadership effectiveness, emotional intelligence is we've mentioned it before, the secret sauce that elevates leaders from good to great. It's this incredible toolkit that fosters self-awareness, empathy, and robust interpersonal relationships, ultimately enhancing a leader's effectiveness in ways that ripple across the entire organization. So let's break it down a little bit. Self-awareness, another cornerstone of emotional intelligence. Emotionally intelligent leaders have this incredible ability to understand their own emotions, strengths, I suppose weaknesses and biases. This self-awareness acts as a compass, guiding their decisions and behaviors. Now, self-awareness isn't, again, the word self-awareness thinks it's all about just knowing oneself, but it's more about being mindful of how one's emotions and actions impact others. Emotionally intelligent leaders recognize their triggers, as mentioned before, and their responses, ensuring they don't let their emotions cloud their judgment or interactions within their team. Here's where, again, it gets fascinating. Self-awareness is the gateway, another gateway to empathy. Emotionally intelligent leaders are adept at stepping into the shoes of others. They understand their team members' perspective, emotions, and their motivations. This empathy forms the bedrock of strong interpersonal relationships. And, I suppose, speaking of relationships, let's unpack that for a little minute. Emotionally intelligent leaders are like relationship architects, if you will. They build connections, foster trust, and cultivate an environment of collaboration and respect within their building. Empathy fuels these relationships. Understanding, yep, that's one thing, but it's good about making others feel understood. These leaders listen actively, acknowledging the emotions and concerns of their team members. This empathetic connection creates a bond of trust and transcends the professional realm. Emotional intelligent leaders excel at communication. Which we don't want to just keep handing out information and passing it on like a lecturer, but they communicate with intention. They choose their words and actions carefully, ensuring that their messages resonate with their team on both an intellectual and emotional level. Communication. We've mentioned before, it's not just about feedback, but in this case, let's look at it. Emotionally intelligent leaders provide feedback, not just to be just constructive, but also delivered with empathy. That's super important. You don't know where the person's receiving it is in their life at the moment. You don't know what's fully going on at home, or maybe you do. They ensure that feedback is aimed at growth, not criticism, fostering an environment where learning and improvement are embraced. And guess what? This robust network of relationships and effective communication doesn't stop within the team. Again, it's that look from outside of the building as a whole. The community are aware of it, or that industry are aware of it. Emotionally intelligent leaders become liaisons, bridging gaps between different departments, fostering a culture of collaboration and shared goals. We have talked about decision making, but emotionally intelligent leaders strike this delicate balance between logic and emotions. They consider, data and facts alongside emotional implications of their decisions. This balanced approach leads to decisions that are not only just rational, but also resonate with the team, fostering a sense of inclusivity and understanding. But here's the real kicker. Enhanced leadership effectiveness isn't just about being a better leader. It's about cultivating a culture within the organization. Yeah, these type of leaders, they're supposed to set the tone, right? Creating an environment where self-awareness, empathy, and strong relationships are not just leadership qualities, but ingrained elements of the organizational DNA. Emotional intelligence is another secret sauce. Oh, we have a lot of secret sauces here, right? That enhances leadership effectiveness. Set of skills is one thing, but there's a way. And I always talk about that feel of the game. It is the way of leading, a feel of the game, that leadership style that's rooted in self-awareness, empathy, and building robust relationships. That's another transformative. God, I can't even speak. I've been speaking for a long time. On that note, we will end it. But, that transformative power of emotional intelligence in elevating leadership effectiveness within our organizations. I know that was a lot to take on, but I mean, I hope we got something from looking at the deeper realms of emotional intelligence. You know, in the book we talk about Phil Jackson, one of the head coach from the Chicago Bulls in the 90s. He was, people looked at him as this quirky leader, but he led with the feel of the game, really bringing out each individual's strengths and weaknesses. That's why he was able to win 6 championships over really two sets of different teams. And then he went and did it with another squad later on with the Lakers. He had completely different players and teams, but he led with the feel, not just some overarching theory. And it goes at a deeper level than that, doesn't it? Any comments and questions, please put them in the thing. Yeah, I'm constantly learning. I'm just gathering all my experiences together and anything that I read and looking deeper into it that way. So I hope we got something from it, but please leave comments, any feedback that I can improve on as well. But I hope you had a good listen. Please come back for next week. I've just had a whole week and a half filming The Guest of Leading Our Own Way. Not quite finished season 1, but we're looking to launch that podcast where we share inspiring stories from people, everyday people who have triumphed, come from some form of adversity or trauma, and they've led their own way into a positive part of their life. In the present moment, I guess. So we're looking really looking forward to Leading Our Own Way. Really excited to share season 1 with you, and I'm almost there to launch that in March at some point. So please come back next week to Nurturing Leadership. I hope you're getting something from it, and I hope, it's just my passion, and it's not for everybody. And I hope I attract the right people to listen to these and watch them along the way. Anyone who's watching it on YouTube, thank you. Please subscribe and share. And if you listen to it on Spotify and Apple, again, please share and comment or tell some friends if you feel that they might get something from it. I appreciate your time. Take care, everybody, and have a great week, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning into our Nurturing Leadership podcast, where we delve into the art of compassionate guidance and fostering growth. Your continued support is invaluable to us, so please subscribe and follow us on all your favorite platforms. We are currently on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. Remember, great leadership starts with nurturing. Nurturing leadership creates lasting impact. Stay tuned for upcoming episodes filled with insightful discussions. We appreciate you joining on this journey. Thank you for listening.